The PlayStation Vita was a handheld ahead of its time. It was truly the first portable to be able to claim it had the power of a console. It fell victim to poor marketing and lack of AAA support, but it left a legacy of great games and a huge cult following of die-hard fans. It also has an incredible catalog of JRPGs. Today we're going to go over 7 insanely expensive JRPGs on the beloved PS Vita. Per usual, no collector's editions, and only North American releases. All prices are researched on price charting. Without further ado, let's get into it. Criminal Girls 2 Party Favors was released in 2015 in Japan and worldwide the next year for the Vita. It was developed and published by NIS. It's a sequel to the 2010 PSP release Criminal Girls Invite Only. The game was controversial for some of the lewd mechanics, such as rubbing the girls up to get them ready for battle. Most of the art featured is beautiful but quite erotic, so if fanservice isn't your thing, you may want to avoid this one. At its core though, the game and its predecessor are both quite solid dungeon crawling, turn-based RPGs. Whether or not you'd want to play this on a bus trip in public is up to you. To party with the Criminal Girls will cost you around $70, complete in box. Ybs 8 was released in 2016 worldwide for the Vita. It was developed by Nihon Falcom and published by NIS America in the West. It would later be released on the PlayStation 4 and 5, as well as Windows, the Nintendo Switch, Luna, and Stadia. The story once again follows our intrepid adventurer Adol, this time as he discovers the secrets of the ancients and the Lacrimosa on a deserted island. The game introduces fan-favorite characters Laxia and Dana, and tells an interesting story of evolution, destruction, and rebirth. It features some of the most stunningly beautiful animated cutscenes seen in games to date. The game follows a similar gameplay style and loop to its predecessors Ybs 7 and Memories of Celceta. Characters can be switched between, and the damage type triangle returns, with slash, strike, and pierce affecting and damaging enemies according to their weaknesses. The game reviewed well and has sold over 600,000 copies across all platforms. The game did face some criticism for its localization, prompting NIS America to acknowledge the issues and release a patch featuring fully re-recorded dialogue. Similarly, a patch was also required for the PC version, this time to address stability and performance concerns. Ybs 8 and its characters have remained popular and seem to have a special place in JRPG gamers' hearts. To resist the Lacrimosa will cost you about $71, complete in box. Merry Skelter Nightmares was released in 2016 in Japan and in 2017 worldwide. It was developed by Compile Heart and published by Idea Factory in the West. The game is an old-school dungeon crawler with a story featuring interesting takes on classic fairy tale characters. The main characters, Jack and Mary, must lead these characters, or Blood Maidens, through these labyrinthine dungeons to seek out and defeat the nightmare bosses that have overtaken the city. The combat features a unique blood gauge management system. When managed correctly, it allows the characters to go into massacre mode, seemingly inspired by Alice Madness Returns in its Hysteria mode. If the gauge is allowed to get out of hand, the characters enter Blood Skelter mode, in which they wildly attack both friends and foes. The game received fair to good reviews and has received a PC and Switch port as well as 2 sequels. To Skelter with Mary will cost you about $90, complete in box. Orishika Tainted Bloodlines was released in 2014 in Japan and a year later in the West. It was developed by Alpha Systems and was published by Sony. It is a sequel to a PlayStation 1 JRPG with a cult following, Ore no Shikabane o Koete Yuke. The game features beautiful character art and cutscenes inspired by traditional Japanese folk art. It has multiple interesting mechanics, such as an in-depth job system featuring 8 classes, and a system not unlike Conception or Agarest War, where the character can marry deities and have offspring with them to continue their bloodlines to pursue revenge against a wicked sorcerer. Enemies are visible in the dungeons and can be approached from the back for advantage. The soundtrack is stunning and received a 3-CD release in Japan in 2014. The game received favorable reviews and sold through a fair amount of its initial shipments, though those quantities were limited as the target audience was fans of the first installment. To propagate your bloodline of revenge-seeking samurai will cost you about $102, complete in box. Atelier Esha and Logi, Alchemist of the Dusk Sky was originally released on the PlayStation 3 in 2013 and worldwide the following year. An enhanced port of the game was released for the Vita in 2015 in Japan and worldwide the next year. This edition added new playable characters, enemies, and story events. The North American physical edition was only released in a special edition available on NIS's website and VGP. The game is interesting for the Atelier series, as there are two protagonists to choose from. Esha uses the traditional cauldron for alchemy, while Logi uses tools to break down things and recombine them into new items and weapons. The game features a large roster of playable characters, and positive reviews heralded the amount of things to do in the game. The game received both a manga and anime adaptation and is considered one of the finer entries in the series. To synthesize Under the Dusk Sky will cost you around $106, complete in box. The next entry would have been Are No Search Plus, Ode to an Unborn Star. We recently covered that in another video though, so we're going with a game from a series many have mentioned in the comments. The game is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. The game was released on the Vita and PS4 in Japan in 2015, and later the next year in North America. This marked the first time in 9 years a Digimon game came to the States. The game follows Aiba, who is attacked and trapped in the digital world Eden. Thankfully, he is rescued by a detective. They soon find out others are being inflicted with Eden syndrome, trapping them in Eden when they are attacked by Eaters, entities formed by negative human emotions. Many fun and surprising twists ensue, and Aiba and some powerful allies and their team of Digimon must race to save those who are trapped. I won't spoil the story, because it's actually a really interesting take on the stuck in a game trope. The game was delisted from storefronts in 2018 and 2019. This did cause a spike in value for physicals, but a complete edition was released on Steam and Switch, which included the sequel. Interestingly enough, as I write this incredible package is on sale for $9.99 on the Nintendo Switch eShop. To capture this game physically on the Vita though, will cost you about $70, complete in box. Astaros Wor Phoenix Festa was released exclusively in Japan in 2016. It is the first video game iteration of the cult anime. A bit later, an exclusive low print run offering of the game with subtitles was made available. I know we don't usually include Asian English copies in these lists, but as you'll see, the price for this rose astronomically as word got out about the limited print run and the fact that it was delisted a few years into its life cycle. The game follows your crew of students as they battle in the Phoenix tournament. The visuals look cute, and the battle system does look fast-paced, fun, and engaging. This extremely desired and limited release is currently fetching upwards of $575 complete in box on the secondary market, and is simply a unicorn for most collectors working on their Vita libraries. Well, that about wraps up our list of insanely expensive PS Vita JRPGs. Did we miss any true classics? What is your Vita JRPG collection looking like? Let us know in the comments. Do you like what we're doing on the channel? Please consider subscribing. We're closing in on 1K subscribers. Until next time, friends, stay creepy.